Yamunatira Vanajam Natira Vanajam Dayana Jaya Gopi Chandava Yasodam Nam Tanda Praja Chandra Chandra Yamunatira Vananja Dayana Bhagavatam ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna, dear devotees. And in Zoom world, in the temple room, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 60, verses 25 to 30. Text 25. Tadrishta Bhagavan Krishna Priyaya Prema Bandhanam Asya Prabhim Ajanantya Karuna Stona. Seeing that his beloved was so bound to him in love that she could not understand the full meaning of his teasing, merciful Lord Krishna felt compassion for her. Parayankat Moru Yashu Tamuthabya Chatur Bhuja Keshan Samukyatat Patram Pramrichat Patmapanina. The Lord quickly got down from the bed. Manifesting 4 arms, he picked her up, gathered her hair, and caressed her face with his lotus hand. Pramrijashru kale netre stanau chapahatau shucha ashtishya bahuna rajan ananya vishayam satim shantayam asa santagya kripaya kripanam prabhu hasya praudhi brahma shittam atat arham satam gati. Translation. Wiping her tear-filled eyes and her breast, which were stained by tears of grief, the Supreme Lord, the goal of his devotees, embraced his chaste wife, who desired nothing but him. O King, expert in the art of pacification, Sri Krishna tenderly consoled pitiable Rukmini, whose mind was bewildered by his clever joking and who did not deserve to suffer so. Text 29. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Mama Vaidhabhya Asu Yatha Yanetva Mat Parayanam Tatvacha Shrotu Kamena Shvelya Charitam Anghane. The Supreme Lord said, O Vaidhabhya, do not be displeased with me. I know that you are fully devoted to me. I only spoke in jest, dear lady, because I wanted to hear what you would say. Purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Lord Krishna spoke the present verse because he thought that lovely Rukmini might be afraid he would again say something to disturb her, or that she might be angry at what he had done. Text 30. Mukham cha prema sambhamha spuritandharam ikshitum katakshe paruna ankham sundaram bhuputi chatham. I also wanted to see your face with lips trembling in loving anger, the reddish corners of your eyes throwing silent glances, and the line of your beautiful eyebrows with night in throne. Purpose. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains here that normally, by the Lord's transcendental desire, his pure devotees reciprocate with him in such a way that they satisfy his spiritual desires. But Rukmini's love was so strong that her unique mood predominated in this situation, and thus instead of becoming angry, she fainted and fell to the ground. Far from displeasing Krishna, however, she increased his transcendental ecstasy by exhibiting her all-encompassing love for him. Om Jnanatimrandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tatati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sham Shri Rupam Sagrajataham Sahagana Rajanatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Valita Shri Shakhamvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna devotees like to ask blessings, Adipurusha Prabhu, and all other assembled devotees. So we can speak on Bhagavatam. Krishna is in everyone's heart. Sarvasya Chaham Divisanya Vishto Matak Stitya Bohancha, he says in Gita. And he gives intelligence, memory, and forgetfulness to everyone in this creation. He gives intelligence to the animals and birds and human beings and aquatics and fish. Like now is springtime and we can hear, sometimes we can hear birds in New York City. So they sing. And they never went to school or how to sing perfectly. And nobody taught them how to fly. And who teaches them what to eat? But Krishna within their heart, as Paramatma, he gives them intelligence, what we call instincts. And somehow also they all flock together. They not mix. They have these specific birds and they in their own group. And there's another group of birds in their own group. And we see all over the world, all different animals, they do their activities without any external education. They just know what to do. But people are different. As people, we need to learn so many things. Basically, our whole life is just continuous education of how to act and how to actually become responsible. That's the difference between animal and a human. And what does it mean to become responsible is to actually accumulate spiritual knowledge. And spiritual knowledge means that every living being in this world is actually a temple of the Lord. Like this great city has so many buildings. You can go around and can see buildings where they do banking. You can see buildings where they do business. You can see buildings where they do buying and selling, hotels, restaurants, you name it. But there's also some buildings which are designated places of the Lord. There's different marks on top of the building. Some has a cross, some has a this half moon size sign, some has a David star, some have chakra, some has trident. There's different marks, but idea is that somehow others to tell others to designate that this place is not for making business or enjoy. This place where we took our shoes, we come inside and we bow down to the Lord. We worship, we pray, we meditate, we render service. And according to different mellows, different relationship with the Lord, there's different traditions, and in different ways, Lord is worshipped. And it's very much needed. Because material life, in opposite, is when people look at each other, they see like, oh, what can I get from it? What can I get from people around me? And it's even between brothers and sisters and husband and wife and children and parents and government and citizens and everywhere. And unfortunately, we quarrel. People quarrel in this world because of material desires, of selfish propensities. But devotees, in opposite, they pray like, we want Krishna. We want you to please become manifesting in my mind. We want that Lord will be present in our consciousness. And we can see how what we put in our consciousness actually become our mirror of how we see the world. If our consciousness is full of greed, like a person who is very greedy or very lusty or very proud person he sees in the world and thinks, oh, everyone is proud. Every single one. It's all people, they just all want the same. One who's very selfish is some people are selfish. There's no selflessness. There's no such persons who can do something without any alternative motive, selfish motive. So people in material consciousness, we think that everyone is like me. But what we try to achieve in Krishna consciousness, we try to actually develop love. And one who develops love actually can start to see that, hey, actually others also, they are part and parcel of Krishna, and they have love. Like soon we're gonna witness a beautiful Arati ceremony, puja, and the different articles which is offered to the Lord. And there's like 5 basic elements. Krishna describes them in Gita, beginning of 7th chapter. Like offering the incense to the Lord is basically earth element. With herbs and beautiful fragrance. And when we offer something to the Lord, actually Krishna gives us back, but in thousands and millions times more. Like we offering the lamp to the Lord. And what is the light? What is the fire? Is warmth and light. And once we offer our light of our love to the Lord, Krishna reciprocates with us that he gives his warmth and his light. He enlightens us in reciprocation. Like there's offering of water in a small conch. And water is an element which purifies and to clean. And while we offer that to the Lord, Krishna actually cleanses us. Then we cool in the Lord with a fan, with a chamara. And how Krishna reciprocates with that? He cools down our burning material propensities, material desires. We cool down. And then soon conch shell will sound, and it actually creates suspiciousness. And how Krishna reciprocates, he creates a auspicious atmosphere in our life. Our life becomes auspicious. Whatever we offer to Krishna, he reciprocates millions and millions times back. And we can offer all these different elements, but actually offering of our consciousness is the topmost of sacrifice. That's why when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna become manifested in our mind, in our consciousness. And it's the topmost of sacrifice because this is the most important part of this existence. It's a root. Usually there is misconception that I have my material life. Why don't you come to the temple? Why don't you come to see devotees, to see the deities, to render service? Oh, I'm busy. What are you busy with? Oh, I have my meeting. Oh, I have my work. I have my family responsibilities. I have so many things. And if I become spiritual, I become weak. Like humble spiritual practitioner, usually misconceptions that they are not successful. But we can see example of Bhagavad, and there wasn't any temple at Kurukshetra. Krishna told Arjuna, your chariot is your temple. Your workplace is your temple. So make it a sacrifice. So our life is meant for sacrifice and to reciprocate with Krishna in devotional mellows, to please him as he wants us to please him. And actually there should not be no difference between our material life and a spiritual life. We, by deep and serious and sincere spiritual practice, we make our whole life as an offering for the pleasure of Krishna. And beautiful prayer. What I once heard in the class of Pradhana Swami said, "Oh Krishna, you know my heart, and you know what's the best for me. So please, oh dear Krishna, arrange things in the way that you'll be happy." Philosophy in Sanskrit is called darshan. But darshan also actually means to see. So actually to see actually means to hear. To actually understand means to see through our ears. And recently I listened to the class of Pradhana Swami. And he explained how he was very fortunate to be with Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan in beginning of 70s. And Prabhupada was showing Vrindavan to his followers and his disciples. And Maharaj explains, but I couldn't see Vrindavan. I couldn't see all these Kalpavriksha trees and place of divine pastimes. It is just buildings and temples and forests. And said later on, when he was a Pujari, Brahmachari Pujari at New Vrindavan. And once he said he used to take a daily nap after his service after lunch. Just a short nap. So one day he went to take his short nap. And during that short sleep, he saw a dream of Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was showing him Vrindavan. And he was walking there and pointing to different places and saying, oh, you know, this Kalpavriksha tree here was when Krishna was here. And this happens here. And don't you see? There's Radha and Krishna, and they playing here, and cowherd boys and cowherd girls, and explaining everything. And Maharaj explained in that dream, I couldn't see anything. I was just seeing external manifestation. But then, just for a moment, he revealed, I saw actually Vrindavan. And then that realization came to him. So actually, we cannot see with our eyes spiritual world. We cannot see Vrindavan, but actually it's here. That's why it's so important to hear about the glories of the Lord and understand how with our mind, our body, and our words we can please Him in the most wonderful way. And in what we read today, Rukmini, this very beautiful pastime, she really, in total surrender, in her own feminine way, she pleads the Lord to become pleased with her behavior. And we see this love and reciprocation, which is Bhagavatam is full of, to inspire us to hanker for Lord's mercy. And to please the Lord, we need to please devotees, we need to please spiritual master. And Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, they do say what we should do, but mostly it actually explains, Prabhupada's purpose explains how we should do that. That's what we study every single day. How we should perform our devotional service to the Lord in each consciousness. What should be our mood and what should be our aspirations. Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Questions, comments, thoughts, criticism, please. Adipurusha, would you like to add something?
Hare Krishna. We pray to Srila Prabhupada, ask him what he would like to say. This is a very interesting passage in the Bhagavatam with the masculine and the feminine. Krishna, the Supreme Purusha, the enjoyer, and Rukmini, Prakriti, the feminine aspect, is meant to please Krishna. And last night, at the guest program, there was a girl from Malaysia, a Muslim girl, with the head covering. You've seen Muslim girls? They're very careful about covering the hair. And there was a Jewish girl from Israel, and she had head covering. And there was a Christian girl from Colorado, and she also had like a veil, like covering. And the Jewish girl and the Muslim girl were remarking, "Oh, is that religious?" And she said, "Yes." And it's one way that we acknowledge that we are submissive in serving God. and they all agreed, that, I mean, it's not the only way you can serve, show that you're submissive. And when we joined the Krishna conscious movement, 70s, all the girls observed that practice as an illustration that I have guru, that I'm subservient. And it's not that men are better. Man is also meant to be submissive, obedient, and equal worth between man and woman, and very controversial in those days. The idea of being obedient to someone. And people were radically disturbed to hear the idea of wife taking shelter of husband. And one of my recently a girl initiated by Radha's woman, she's living in Vrindavan, and she sent me an email and she said, I'm getting married, and my husband is protecting me. And I was sent back, and what are you protecting from? Are people attacking you, or, hitting on you or something like that? She said, husband is protecting me from my main enemy, my mind. That relationship was giving her shelter, because she said, my mind is always thinking, I like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like that. And my husband says, well, like it or not, it's time for class. It's not what I like and what I don't like. It's we are obedient to the Guru's program. If we are disciples, we accept the discipline of the spiritual master. And she said, and my whole life is different, because I have this person in my life who's a shelter, who's giving me shelter from my uncontrolled mind, whimsically flipping back and forth between what I like. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, everyone is born into delusion in the material world based on desire and hate. That's what confuses us when we live our life according to what we like and what we don't like. And it says that a person who is, what's that verse? Attracted, attached to material opulence, and is bewildered by such things, the resolute determination of devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place, right? Yeah, so just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that. So we all have that situation. Who are we listening to? My own experience, I think 50 years in Krishna consciousness is just a really short time, but Krishna's allowed me to see a lot of things. When I moved into New Vrindavan in 1974, we had 30 brahmacharis living in the brahmacharya ashram. And you're living, serving, worshiping, living with them for years. And you get to know them. And then almost all of them accepted the household ashram, right? And then what tends to happen is you have children, right? And of course, years later, I was asked to come back and help with the management in Vrindavan. And there was everyone had a counselor, every 10 group of devotees had a counselor who they were accountable to about their attendance. And then every week they would submit. I used to have to prepare the list, and I would see, who is at japa, who is at kirtan, who is at class. And there was even a new program, an emerging program. And my experience, my observation was that the girls who covered their head, I mean, of course, there's exceptions to everything, that those couples, they had children who had respect for the mother and were peacefully engaged in that relationship, because the mother had, God bless you, the mother had some relationship to the father, and the father had some relationship to the guru in terms of their own sadhana and their own contribution to trying to serve Krishna. So there was it went down like that. Guru, husband, wife, children. I've seen this, that if there was, that's not, there's exceptions to every rule, but, I'm talking about what Krishna showed me, that there was, if people participated in Krishna consciousness, a simple gesture, shaving the head, covering the head. Of course, there's exceptions to everything. It's not just because your head is shaved or just because you have a veil that you're a good devotee. But I noticed a remarkable correlation between that and this thing last night with these three girls, with the Christian girl, the Muslim girl, and the Jewish girl, and all of them had that thing. And I was listening to their conversation about how this is a gesture that I'm a servant of God, that I have faith, that I want to follow scripture, and that I'm having the shelter of good instruction. And I very rarely see Christian girl with head cover. Of course, when I was a child going to Catholic Church, every single girl had something on their head, at least during worship. And so I typed in the internet head covering, and I got Jewish film clips, Muslim film clips, Christian film clips, all about head coverings. I could show you on my computer. There's like probably 20 of them. And they were saying that this is a gesture of an internal quality of consciousness. And that the veil. I mean, you look at Radharani, Mother Jasoda, look at Radharani over there. She has a veil. That there's I mean, these days I guess they express it in a different way. But growing up in Krishna consciousness near Vrindavan, we weren't in New York. There was nothing but devotees. And so it was very normal for people to be shaved off and to cover their girls covering their head. Maybe I'm getting off topic here, but male, female, equal worth, but different ways of expressing the fact that I want to be carefully taking the shelter of the Guru's instructions, shelter of my husband, and how that bleeds down to the children. There are 200 children living there, and you're living there. It's not that you see them all over the place. You see them in the temple, you see them in the gardens, you see them in the, all over the place. And how that quality of husband taking shelter of Guru and being obedient, wife taking shelter of husband and acknowledging, and the way that happens to the children. In the Chinese, they say Wu Lin, the 5 different kinds of things that indicate whether it's Confucius teaching about whether a society is harmonious. The children's relationship to the parents, the mother's relationship to the father, the population's relationship to the government. Either there's respect, and of course you have to earn respect. You don't just demand it. Well, there isn't. And if there's no respect, then it becomes very discombobulated. Anyway, I'm talking too much. We'll go to Srila Prabhupada. Anyway, this thing, masculine, feminine. It's just something that in this class today.
Where is your apron, Adipusha Prabhu? Why is your chest not covered with an apron?
I'm sewing the apron to try to stay away from clay.
Okay. All right.
Pulling apart.
Okay, we have Bhima, we have Venetia and Whiskey, and followed by Bhima having their hands up.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Gopal Krishna Das. So nice to see you. Thank you for class. You spoke about making your workplace a temple and how Krishna says that to Arjuna. And I have heard some that you have done that in your life, and I was wondering if you could share how you do that, if you're comfortable, and if not, then feel free to move on to Bhima.
Yeah, once I walked to the Bhakti center and there was one devotee and she was asking, how are you? I said, I am just a driver. And she told me, no, Krishna was a driver. Don't ever think that it's something like inferior. So I just, before starting my yellow cap in the morning, I pray, do Mangala Charanam, and I meditate that it's service. And then from day one, I had books in a car, and I have a sign in the back saying that your driver is a former monk with a 10-year experience, 10 years experience in the monastery. If you like, you can ask him questions. So approximately the second person is asking, and sometimes even like yesterday, like maybe had one person who didn't spoke, but conversation is there, and always two questions: why in and why out? Why you became come to spiritual life, and they usually think if you quit monastery means you quit. That's it. And thinking, oh, he became one of us. And then asked, do you have wife? I said, yes, I got married to beautiful American girl, serving at Bhakti Center and everything. And they're very happy. They're like, oh, you're one of us. Struggle for existence in New York City. And I was thinking people would spit on me because of that work, but actually there was even prior to run away from respect and honor, still was lots of respect. People respect hard work in this city. So conversation is there, and if they ask me a question about me being brahmachari monk before, so it seems they're qualified. They're qualified even if they just came inside, but if they become interested, I continue further and we have nice discussion and just time to make friends with them, basically. And in the end, when they pay for the ride, I just give them a gift as a book. And they're very happy because it's always some austerity to give to others, even you just paying for the service, which is always difficult. People have difficulties with that and giving something extra, but then they receive something back, totally unexpected. And I usually ask them, do you like to read books? Do you like wisdom? Do you like philosophy? Do you like spirituality? And usually people don't like to say no. They feel they're qualified. Like, yes, I'm smart. I'm smart. Okay, so here's a book. Take the book. And just a few days ago, I had a person. I asked, so he asked me all kinds of questions. What do you do? I said, oh, I'm going to see my play. I said, oh, you did the play? I said, I'm a writer. I said, wow, that's cool. You do it for work? I said, yeah, I'm actually teaching writings. I said, really? Where you teach writing? I said, at Yale University. I was like, wow, that's nice. I appreciated him, and then he was super smart. And then in that, I gave him Bhagavad Gita in his hand. He's like, was hungry hand. He was like, grab Bhagavad Gita. And I was thinking, okay, thanks Krishna. Like if I go to Yale University myself, I would be like before these professors, I would be like somewhere in the like basement of Bhakti Center, and we'll be like on the rooftop. But somehow other we connect and people reciprocate, and many stories, many times some business people, big CEOs, and just all kinds of people, from like tourists sometimes, but mostly locals have specifically like to work in East Village because it's locals are here. And the same Bhakti Center, at least I give invitation card as many as possible, basically to every passenger. But books also as much as I can. And thanks to Bhakti Center, I have unlimited supply of books for free. So they allowed me just to give it out. So there's another question. We have only 2 minutes. So Bhima. Hare Krishna. Bhima Prabhu.
Haribo Prabhu, so nice to see you again. I thought she had kidnapped
Likewise.
you and never going to allow you back to give class again. It's so good to see you.
I like this.
What's that?
Likewise, Prabhu, likewise.
Yeah. I think that's wonderful, how you have it set up so that people reach out first to ask a question. It's a passive way to say, hey, I'm a person who has lived a life that may be of some interest. Everybody has questions about that, and I think it's such an excellent way. We find that if we're in that outside world and we act like true gentlemen and gentlewomen, we find that people pick up on that vibe. And this, of course, is by the grace of Prabhupada and Krishna in our hearts that allows us to be, let us see, a little bit more effulgent in our behavior. Because we are reflecting Krishna. Hopefully, we are reflecting the grace of our spiritual master and Krishna, and that we can act in such a way that people become interested in and want to ask us, what is this world you're living in, and is it of interest to me? So I think that's a wonderful thing. I just wanted to say that we all must understand. In fact, we all do. But just to reiterate that these things of head coverings, even shaved heads, this is my excuse, are external. These are external, and but as a monk's cowl is used when monks pull a cowl over their head to pray and to be in solitude, it's a pulling within, and it keeps the world out. It's sort of like sometimes we have to, when we get a new horse, we have to put blinders on so that they don't see what's on either side, so they stay calm and only see what's in front of them. So a head covering, even a shaved head for all practical purposes, is a way in which that we learn to pull within ourselves, that the veil that we pull between us and the world is sort of saying, it's sort of like a wedding ring. A married woman wears a wedding ring to tell others that she's already taken, she's betrothed. So from a further distance, a veil or a head covering tells the world that I'm betrothed in my heart. I'm betrothed into my heart to my Lord, whether that Lord comes under the name of Allah, Yeshua, Jah, Krishna. The name of our beloved is the same, and that head covering and that willingness to shave one's head, it is a sign to the world that we have found someone who is dear enough to us that we are willing to express our chastity towards that beloved, which ultimately lies within us. And that's why monks wear a cowl, so that they can pull within themselves, so that when they are making their prayers or chanting their rounds, so to speak, that nothing on either side of them or behind them distracts them from their beloved. And I'd just like to say that your class was very endearing that way. And I love the fact that your example in life is to be a monk in a taxi for all practical purposes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Darshan is just coming up, so let us move much close to Krishna. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri Radha Mulida.
Jai. Gopal Krishna Prabhu. Such a wonderful Krishna conscious class. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's all devotees who participated.
They bowed us down, and I saw Siham's bright face. Hare Krishna. That was the class. Thank you very much, dear devotees. If anyone would like to share anything, it's just a few of us, just 11 of us. Intimate, sweet time. Sundaranandaji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers here.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day. Krishna is our mother, our father. I'm going to get flowers for Krishna, for our family. Yeah, dear devotees. Yeah, cover your head from nonsense, from prajalpa, from judgment. You'll be all right. Our head covering is our sadhana. That's what keeps us safe. All right. It was nice spending the time with you. Nice seeing you. Krishna Gauda, very nice comments, always. Angel, Suzanne, Yogeshwari, Amrita Kishori, Neha in the dark. Yeah, we can see you. We can barely see you. Yeah, we see her smiling. The teeth. We can see the teeth. Okay. See him. Donald. Anandi, how is Donald doing? Not good? Tell again? Tell him we love him. Okay. Bhima Prabhu, your tractor is your temple. It's the final instruction for you, Bhima Prabhu. Hare Krishna.